Alright, people, it is time to wrap up Joshua. It's been much more time spent on this than I ever wanted to because a lot of it is boring out of my mind. So, didn't really want to do it, but we're going to finish it up. So, I left you off on chapter 9, about to get in chapter 10 and chapter 9. They had just gotten tricked by the Gibeonites, I guess that's how you would say it, and uh, feel kind of foolish for accepting such a deal, but that's just what happens. So they make a treaty with the Gibeonites, and in chapter 10 we find out that the king of Jerusalem, which is interesting because I didn't know that Jerusalem actually existed before uh, the Israelites were there. I thought they made the city themselves, but in fact it was its own city. Um, but the king of Jerusalem combines forces with four other kings in the area to attack Gibeon because they had made a treaty with the Israelites. Um, now, when they go to attack, so there's five kings in total, and now they're attacking Gibeon. Now made a treaty with Joshua, and the Gibeonites go to Joshua and ask for protection. Now Joshua, I'm sure, doesn't want to actually help them out, but still does because he's a man of his word, made a treaty, the whole sort of thing. So um, it just goes on. So Joshua marches to join the fight with his entire fighting army. So he's bringing everybody. He ain't cutting back. There's no let's do the city of Ai twice. None of that. Uh, yeah, and then God tells Joshua that the Israelites are going to win. Joshua actually marches all night long to get to the location where the original fighting is going on. And mind you that the five kings, I don't know if I said it, but they are attacking the Gibeonites because they made a treaty with Joshua and they were so mad at him for doing that. And they were actually supposed to be really good fighters to begin with, and they're like, we needed those fighters, and now they're with Joshua. So they're attacking the lesser of the two evils to them to try to trying to even the playing field as much as possible, and it's not going to work. So Joshua marches all night and actually surprise attacks the five kings, attacking at dawn um, after marching all night. So Joshua prays that the sun will not set while they are fighting. So I'm assuming that the five kings can fight better at night. I don't know why you want it to be daylight. Regardless, Joshua prays that the sun doesn't set, and it doesn't for 24 hours. It's a whole day. So like, sun's supposed to be setting, and it's not. Come on, sun. I'm sure that kind of freaked a lot of people out. So it was like another sign of God really being on the Israelites at this time. The five kings uh, of the Amorites, I believe was their people group. Five kings of the Amorites run away with their armies. And while they're running, this is really cool, I like this part, God sends hail on the Amorite armies, and actually more people die, or I should say more soldiers die, from the hail than from the actual battle. So although they're out there trying to fight, and then they're like, okay, let's just run away, run away. We can survive this. We run away, and God's just like, no, I'm sorry. 25-pound hailstones, or it doesn't really say how heavy they were, but it's going to need a lot of hail to kill people that are already in armor. So I mean, it's going to be like at least softball size, I would assume. So doesn't kill them all, but kills a bunch of them, and the remaining men of the five kings uh, flee to their original home city. So they go to their five, you know, cities, and the five kings actually avoid their own cities, but hide up in a cave, but are found later on. I think like a day later, maybe, um, in the cave. They're drug out and interrogated, killed, thrown back in the cave, stone on top of the cave. So good place to die. Awesome. So then Joshua continues through the region, um, and it just says that he, took out seven more cities, but it kind of goes, okay, then he took out this city, took out this city, and he took out this city, and he did this one, and he did the other one, and blah 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 blah. So, chapter 11. King of Hazar heard about Israel and all its battles, then the king of Hazar calls the rest of the northern kings to come together and fight against Israel. So now this is not just like 5 kings. This is like a lot of kings. So now this is like a really big, very important battle. Same thing but only different. Um, Israel now being battle hardened and blessed again by God, uh, goes and taxes the huge armies. This is like huge. God tells Joshua that they will win by this time tomorrow. So the 24 hours you're going to win this huge battle. All these people, you know, it's just cool. You would think it was going to last like a week, all that fighting, and but no. So Joshua and his army destroy everyone and takes the cities and burns them like they burned Hazar. So they actually burn all of the cities from all these other kingdoms. Takes the kingdom, burns the city. Bam. Um, and then they actually have a time of rest. So this is like the last major war for this era. They're pretty much done fighting. There's no more major battles. I think there might be a few more itty bitty ones in there, but this is the rest. Then all of chapter 12 is they're listing all of the defeated kings, and I tried to count them up, but it was a little bit confusing. And I think that there's 31 in total, but it's kind of goofy the way that they were saying it. So we're gonna go with 31. We're just pretend that it's 31. Maybe that actually would make sense because maybe it's the same number of people that died when they attacked Ai the first time, but I think it's at 36. So whatever. Then chapter 13 is actually it's a listing of the land that still needs to be taken. So there was still more fighting to be going on.